So let's talk value lines a little bit. Remember, we have this photograph as well, and we have that as a guide that we can kind of use so we know where it goes from one value to another. So this is the basic outline drawing. It has everything we need as far as the size, dimension stuff, but it does not have information on value changes. Oftentimes it is helpful to have information on value changes. Let me show you how to do that, for example. Now, some of the lines we can't really see where things are really well, so we're going to have to interpret a little bit on some things. So I'm going to bring this one down. I'm going to bring this one up so we can see things just a little bit better on those. And so right over here, there's the white spot, okay, and it's pretty close to the edge. I'm just going to guess and say that the white spot is about right here. And then around that is the light gray spot. A little bit flatter over here like that. And so I'm going to put the white here. I'm going to be able to put light gray here. And now this one is interesting. We see that we have a little bit of the tomato in the back over here on that. And so we know that this is going to be part of that medium gray. Okay, and so medium gray kind of comes down here. There's a little bit of some cast shadow under here that comes out, and then it comes across here diagonally, maybe a little bit of a bulge there, but then as it comes down here, and then we have there, right up here, we have just a little bit of the gray that we can see with our shadows, right? This part comes down here, and there's just a little teeny part here. This part here is the light part on the tomato, and so we know that that's right here, and so I'm seeing that the darkest value on this is really only about right here, and maybe coming down like that. And so that's that part of the tomato. And so I've made a value separation for the tomato itself, the white, the light medium, the medium itself, and then the dark medium and the darkest value here. Now, I can go back in here and do the same thing for the stems. I'm going to choose not to do that because there's going to be lots of teeny little lines in there, and you're going to look at them, you're going to say, I'm not sure which line is which, Mr. White, and that's okay. We'll kind of build those as they come along. When I look at it, you can see that there's white, there's a light gray. This actually goes from white kind of to the medium gray, then to the dark. So there's mostly just 3 values here, darker stuff underneath. And so we're going to use this as a guide more for than actually drawing in here. But for the tomatoes, we can go ahead and use this thing here. So on this part, let's go ahead and we can put in, there's just this one doesn't have as much of a round part. It looks like a tadpole. There's a little tadpole right here. Then around the tadpole, there's a little bit of the light gray, right? And then we have the medium gray is all of this over here, and then it comes down here with the medium, kind of comes back here like this, and then ducks down and disappears under that. Then down over here we have, this is the cast shadow that's kind of on the tomato from the other tomato, kind of dropping down like this, and then we have the darkest dark area is just underneath here. And so that's the value separation over here. Up on this part we have right in this area, we have kind of the medium right here, and then it goes darker as it gets up over here. And so that's kind of a value separation on that one. The ones that are in back don't have as much that we can see. We might see right here, this one just has a little bit of stuff here. And these are all in the light gray. And then it has this part that's kind of coming up. And then coming out the outside here like that. And so this one doesn't have quite as many values as the other one does. So there's your value separation on that one. This one comes right around the stem portion, right? So there's the white. You have kind of a disjunct looking gray area coming up here. Then this part comes down, is right along the edge here. This is that's kind of the medium, and then it's kind of coming up this way. And then the darkest value here. Running out of juice on my pencil. And so there's a little bit of the value separation on that guy. The ones in the background over here, we know there's a little bit of a light part over here on that one. This one has a little bit of a light part over here. We can see those. Back here we don't see as much separation on deciding where this is, so we're going to have to make that up. It's actually blended a lot of this in here together as we look for our value separations. This one does have a little bit of one around here like the other ones do. We're going to guess that this one also would have a little bit of something around it like the other ones did. This one has its little highlight right in here, and we already got this one here. And so those are some of the value separations that we can see as we come up over here. Then I know that this one's kind of doing something like that. I guess the last thing we can do is down here. There is a cast shadow that comes up like this. It's a big dipper on that one. It dips down a little bit into this one, and then this one has a cast shadow that's coming off of the bottom of it as well. And that this cast shadow has a little bit of a curve that's coming off of it. And then this one is kind of going down in the shadows in and of themselves. This tomato has its own cast shadow that picks up over here, so these kind of join together. And so that's the last feature, I guess, that we have, are having these cast shadows. Now I know that when you look at this, there's lots of lines on there, and so that can become very, very confusing to you as you create your drawings and your paintings. That's why sometimes it's easier to put in the value areas so you can see them, even if it's just a little bit on that. Here, I'm going to use this guy. And so like for me, if it's easier for you to say, well, this is the cast shadow area, and do something like this to where you have just your darker values in, and it makes it easier for you to understand, to eliminate some of those lines. You could do that. You don't have to. Okay, you don't have to put in some values, but you can if it's helpful for creating your drawings on those. It's got a little bit too gooky up here. Okay, so that's the end of putting in our value shapes that we have for this particular drawing, and we'll go ahead and mix some paints, I guess.